Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Unbreakable. Our topic today is risk factors with chronic illness. Something that Kay and I share in common is paying attention to our immune system. Even though they are opposite, we want to talk about those. So, Kay, let's talk about your side.
Okay, well, in lupus, we have some issues that most people don't think about. One of them is thrush. From many of the medications that lower the immune system, which is exactly what we need because lupus is about having an overactive immune system. So
Most people don't know that, though.
Right. So our immune system is highly overactive. So our medications actually lower the immune system. So, like one night we could just go out and have too many glasses of wine, and the next morning you wake up and there's like white stuff all over your tongue. And it's like when babies have thrush.
Wow, really?
I'm sure a lot of moms can relate to this.
Okay.
But
I
yeah,
didn't
like,
realize it was exactly the same.
it is. It's like yeast that grows, it's an overgrowth of yeast, which is as gross as it sounds.
And that's from
yeah.
drinking wine, not beer. So beer would
Well,
be
I
even
mean,
worse.
even if you don't, I mean, it could just happen for any reason. But in my own case, I've noticed that if I have too many glasses of wine or if I have too much sugar, I can wake up the next morning and I can have a thrush infection. So,
Wow.
How
long does that take to go away then?
Well, you have to get medication for it. So
really?
normally what a doctor will do is they'll give you a rinse for your mouth. They also can give you a one pill that kills any kind of like yeast going on in your body. So it's actually a quick intervention, but you have to have a close relationship with your doctor. You have to call them up and say, hey, this is happening again. I need some medication for it. Especially if you're on antibiotic, which is another entire different conversation. But if you have lupus and you're on antibiotic, you are guaranteed to be overgrown with yeast. Oh yeah, you can wake up with like stuff in your eyes. You can wake up with stuff on your tongue. You can wake up with yeast infection, the whole 9 yards.
So is it like the stuff on your eyes? Is it like similar to like a pink eye or?
No, it's more different? Like you wake up and your eyes are running and you have like this white discharge from your eye. It's almost the same. Yeah. So, I mean, you wake up and you have all these things going on and you know it's because of lupus. A lot of doctors don't tell you this, unfortunately, but it is a common side effect of lupus from the medications that you take. But not only that, just from the disease itself. Right. So you're always at risk for this, which is unfortunate. Do you have anything like that you have to worry about, Elle?
Not that. No. As far as my immune system goes, it's just basically anything that comes along, I need to avoid it as much as possible because I'm more than likely, if not the first, the second to get it. And if I do get it, you know, like most people, it might knock them down for a week or 2 weeks. For me, it'll be a month or 2 months because my immune system is so low. It takes a lot to fight anything that comes along. So
yeah, I can relate to that. Same here.
To kind of correlate, like with everything that's going on currently, you know, I'm in that risk category because my immune system is so low. It wouldn't be able to fight off anything like that. So, and I think you would be the same, but you're on the opposite spectrum.
Well, absolutely. I'm the same because the medications that I take completely kill my immune system because that's the only way that my disease can be managed.
Right.
So my choices are to allow my disease to completely take over and not take anything. Or I can take the medications that are important to manage my disease, but it leaves me with no immune system, so I'm the same as you. So yeah, that makes the virus right now extremely dangerous for me.
Like you're a double whammy. I'm just the one where I'm just like, we know what we're doing, but for you it's a double whammy. It can go either way, right?
Well, yeah, and then some of the other things on a normal basis that people with lupus have to deal with is like chronic UTIs, which is urinary tract infection. I know. Those are the worst. I mean, I can get it just from, let's say I'm going to a friend's house an hour or two away.
Okay.
If I don't drink enough liquids and I don't have access to a bathroom, I can get a UTI just from that trip.
Wow.
So it's something that is really sensitive. Sex always causes it. There was a point where before I got diagnosed, I had a doctor that put me on a low-level antibiotic on a daily basis because my sexual relationship was causing UTIs so often. My doctor was like, you need to be on a low-level antibiotic every day, which does happen. I'm sure there's women out there who are going, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're a committed sorry, you're in a committed relationship, so of course you're gonna be having sex more often. So
right. And this was like even before I knew that I had lupus, and chronic UTIs are common for lupus. Another thing that I constantly had before I knew I even had lupus and still have is chronic sinus infections, which is another, immunity problem. If you have a low immune system, you're constantly having like different infections. And for me, my sinus infections were out of control and still are. And I always thought it was allergies. Have you had this issue?
Allergies?
Well, just like having chronic like headaches and sinus infections and all this other stuff. I know that there's a lot of people with different diseases, that have all these issues and they think it's like allergies, but
me personally, in my experience, if you pay attention to where the headache starts, it's not where an allergy headache would start, in my personal experience. It's always somewhere else, which hints to me it that's not it.
Right.
I'm still working with my doctors on that, but every so often, it's just help me out with this.
Yeah, because like I'll have sinus infections probably half of the year. I mean, for real.
Wow.
Yeah, and
do you know what you're allergic to, or is it just your lupus?
It's actually not allergies. It's from a low immunity, but at the same time, they're not going to give you antibiotics for every infection you have when they know that you have something like lupus, because a long-term antibiotic can actually make things worse.
I'm just curious. Are you sure you're not allergic to something? Like, have you thought about getting a test done?
Well, I have had allergies, environmental allergies.
You do have environmental allergies?
Yeah, I do. Okay. Yeah, I have. But I mean, the infections that I'm talking about are high up in the sinuses. It's not.
It has nothing to do with your other allergies?
Yeah, they've done. I actually had an MRI done because of this. And I have upper sinus infections that are, not related to the allergies I have, which together, believe me, that is so much fun. But no, like, all of these things can just multiply when your immune system has been suppressed.
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't mean to interject, but when your immune system goes down, every person is different. When your immune system goes down, it will affect whatever it decides to. And
Right.
every person is different, in my experience, anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely. These are just things that are, common for people with lupus.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that, many diseases have, and people have different reactions depending on who they are. But it was nice for me to find out that these were common interactions with lupus, because I was always like, why am I having all these issues with this or that,
Right. You're not alone.
Um,
Finally, you're not alone.
right, exactly. It made me feel better. And then there was an issue with my teeth, which this was huge for me because I have always been complimented on my teeth. I've
Mm-hmm.
always been, from a small child, my mother was like, teeth, 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 teeth. She's like, no matter what you do in your life, your teeth have to look good, because otherwise, what's good?
Mm-hmm.
Like, your teeth are everything. Like, seriously. So it was ingrained into my psyche, and I've always had, I have to say, one thing that I do like about myself is I have beautiful teeth. But
Yeah, you do.
but thank you. The problem, though, is that when you take all these medications for lupus, and even with lupus itself, your teeth can actually go through a lot of injury, weakening. So for me, it was really hard because I had this issue where my molar was starting to break down and
Oh
it
my God.
crumbled. Yeah, I'm like eating something and all of a sudden my molar just crumbles into nothing. And I'm like, what
Oh
the?
my God.
It freaked me out. I started crying.
Do you know
Um,
which no, okay, we
it
can't
was
do that. Sorry,
prednisone.
take that. Okay,
No,
prednisone.
it's okay. It was
That's common.
prednisone.
That's common. I hate to be
Absolutely.
whatever, but unfortunately that is the
Yep.
major side effect from so many people
Yep.
that are on it. It saves so many lives. I'm not gonna say it doesn't,
Hmm.
but the side effects are cruel.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the problems I had. Prednisone was great for me, but they had me on it for 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
which was not good. And my tooth just crumbled. So I had to go to the dentist and get this bridge. They had to destroy two of my teeth so that I could have a tooth put in the middle. I mean, it was horrible. Like, for me, it was horrible.
I can't speak for myself, but a family
Hmm.
member that's extremely close to me, um, to this day it's not been clarified, but I'm pretty sure,
Hmm.
from everybody and other doctors, that they lost all of their teeth due to prednisone.
Yeah, I've had
They lost
friends.
every single tooth in their mouth
Hmm.
because it became so infected. They became so, rotten, whatever the case may be.
New people are really scared, but
Mm-hmm.
if you compare the risk of not taking your medication versus
Mm-hmm.
taking them, the risks are far worse if you
Oh
don't.
my gosh, yes. Please let me tell you, my family member, yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Losing
Yeah.
their teeth over not living
Hmm.
was
Exactly.
totally worth it.
Right.
Don't
Eh,
think for a minute that just because you might be prescribed it. No. If that's
Right.
the worst side effect you have and you can still live and have a healthy, semblance of a life,
Hmm.
it's worth it, trust me.
I mean, it's
It
hard to really settle yourself with that, but it is worth it.
it is absolutely, absolutely.
And
Uh,
then, the other thing with those medications, but also having a weakened immune system.
mhm,
So, so here's an experience I had. I'm walking through a park. I'm having this great time with my family. I'm looking
mhm,
at the water. I'm looking at the
mhm.
ducks. All of a sudden, I trip over this like little change in the sidewalk,
Little what?
and like a little blip in the sidewalk, like a little
Okay,
raise in the sidewalk, and I
a
trip
crack
over
in the
it.
sidewalk, or
Right,
like,
right. Yes,
yeah,
thank you.
okay.
And so, brain fog, yes. So I'm walking, and this happened, and I swear it was like slow motion. I could see myself just like falling forward, and I'm like I'm trying to get my balance and I almost get it and then I don't. And then I almost get it again and then I don't. And then finally I just fall forward. And my toe is just completely annihilated. Not broken, but the toenail is just completely crushed. And the pain is, horrible. So, this is just one of the times this has happened to me because, as you know, I had a fall this last weekend, which was even worse.
Right.
But, right. But, most people can heal from something. It'll take a couple weeks or whatever. The nail on my foot took 8 months. It's still not completely right.
Wow.
Right. So, I mean, when you have an injury and you have an autoimmune disease like lupus or whatever, your injuries are much more serious. So you actually have to take them seriously. You have to go and get medical help in situations where maybe you'd be like, well, I can handle this at home.
Right.
In a
Right.
situation where you have lupus or something, no, you really should not do that. You should just go to the doctor and have some help because it's not the same.
Absolutely.
Has
And,
anything like that happened to you?
oh my God, you're talking to the queen of clusters. And then, I have fibromyalgia on top of it,
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, most people would say, oh my goodness, superficially, she's just a wuss, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But the thing of it is that just the other week I'm unloading the shopping cart with someone, and this blunt object hits my left arm, as we're unloading the shopping cart, and I'm still feeling it almost a week later.
Oh, wow.
There's no bruise. I don't bruise easily. In my family, for whatever reason, we don't bruise easily.
Mm-hmm.
But, with the fibro, it's just, from the instant it happens, you're like, I'm going to pay for this shit so bad.
Right.
You just know, like your nerves are angry. If you know anything about fibromyalgia, all nerves. So as soon as you do that, all your nerves are upset. There's nothing you can do there's very little, I should say, you can do to soothe them at that point.
Right.
So as far as healing, yeah, sometimes it does take me a little longer too, as well, depending on the type of wound that we're dealing with. It's weird.
Well, I know that your situation is different than most. You have issues with hearing and also with your sight.
Right.
So, like, what kind of risk factors do you have to deal with that are different?
Geez. We don't have an hour for that. But
we do.
No. Okay, so hearing by itself, most people are used to that with the elderly. But when you're young, people do not even think about the fact or factor in the fact that you may not be able to hear. So that right away, So, and I hate to correlate current events, but especially right now, especially if you can't see someone talking and you're hard of hearing, I have no idea what you just said. So right there, you have another thing where you you struggle, and then with the vision, it's, for me anyway, lighting is the biggest issue. But for me, if you can imagine, going through life with two bounty rolls, to the cardboard, the whatever you call that, the base.
Mm-hmm.
Have two of those over your eyes and put some I know what the word I'm looking for. Plastic wrap. There we go. Some plastic wrap on the end of that.
Right.
And just try and walk through life that way. Everything is different. Nothing is
Right.
clear. Lighting is huge. It's huge. You become instantaneously vulnerable.
Right.
Hearing, I don't believe people realize just how valuable hearing and vision is. But when you are lacking both, it makes you extremely vulnerable
I
to
imagine.
everything. And that's what ties into the anxiety, depression, all that stuff for people
Right.
like myself. Because, you're trying to adapt to a world that doesn't even recognize you yet. Most people don't even know you exist.
Yeah.
So,
Which is a problem with invisible illness. Like most people look at you and you seem fine. So
exactly.
right.
You go to a restaurant, the person you're with, you're like, this is my order, this is what I want, blah, 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 blah. Because you're not going to be able to hear the waitress, let alone if you're lucky to be able to see them, depending on the lighting. Especially if you go at night. Oh my goodness.
And then, which is not even the same, but you don't even know if you can eat the food because your immune system is so low, you're worried about who's handling it.
Absolutely. In your case, that's just it. It's like, okay, I can see, I can talk, I can hear, whatever, but what about the fact that I might get sick?
Right.
And that's something, I will be completely 100% honest now. I do not think about that enough. I really don't. I do not. And it's something that anybody with a low immune system really should. High, low, it doesn't matter. You're at risk. And you need to take it seriously. It wasn't until we started talking, Kay, that I realized that it was just like, oh shit, she's got this, and she's got a high immune system, and she has to worry about that, and I have like next to a nothing immune system. What the heck am I doing?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I kind of, maybe I'm just overboard germophobic, but with everything that's happening right now with the virus, it amazes me that people still take out all the time because you really don't know who's preparing your food. So,
well,
I don't know. Like, I'm one of those people where I will eat takeout and I'll be wondering that kind of thing. And, like, I just can't enjoy.
Well, I will have to share my personal experience then with you because the person I live with, we have been throwing our food and everything with conditions that's been going on. But his thing has been, order out as much as we can so we can preserve as much as possible.
Right.
So it's been one of those things where it's like, okay, I've had to talk myself into like, okay, the cook touches it, the person who puts it in the box touches it, and that's it. And that's the the and it's good to take precaution. It is. I'm not saying it's not, but there's a point where we all share the same germs and we all share the same, So it's like don't become a germaphobe. Is my thing. Just be extra cautious.
There was a point for me where my doctors told me that I was not allowed to eat out. So.
Oh wow! Really?
Well, yeah, because of
totally different.
Because of the medication that I was taking, made my immune system so low that they did not want me, eating out or whatever. I couldn't even.
Which, again, as someone as an outsider from lupus, that makes sense to me, though.
Yeah, and
Because, I mean,
so
I'm just thinking about sitting at some of the chain restaurants where they have the
mhm,
touchscreen where you do everything, you check out, you place your
yeah,
order, you da-da-da-da. How many fucking people have touched that before you
exactly.
did? And you
Right.
know they didn't wipe it down because you can feel the oil.
Yep.
You know,
I mean, that's not even the food. Like I really did get to the point where just eating the food was hard for me because of the amount of pressure the doctors put on me. They made it
right.
really they made me really aware of the fact that uh, eating out is one of the ways that you could really get an infection like severely. So yeah, so I got to the point where I didn't want to go to restaurants or whatever, which is a
Which
normal
is,
thing for most people.
I
But
know, I know.
yeah,
But
yeah.
again, it's sad, to me because,
Hmm.
that's why people go to gourmet restaurants because they know that they have clean food, clean
Yeah,
staff, people who know what
yeah,
they're doing, people who aren't good. Why is that not
exactly.
standard? Like,
Right.
why is not available to everybody? Because for
Hmm.
whatever stupid reason, you
I
know.
know. I know. And I mean, a
And
lot of people don't think about that either. So, you know, you could be in a multitude of situations with anybody and they don't understand why you don't want to go to a restaurant. And suddenly again, it's like something where you look at a person, they seem healthy to you, but you don't understand what's going on behind all that. And there's a
well,
lot
that's
going
just
on.
it. Which
Yeah.
is part of my confusion why, uh, people get upset with people who have food allergies,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
Well, those are the same people that get, to me, are the same people that would get upset with people like myself and you because they don't see it. They don't
Right.
understand it. They don't care. It's just an
Hmm.
inconvenience. It's an extra step. They don't want to understand it. They just want to move on with their day.
Absolutely. Yeah. They don't want to be bothered with something new,
Mm-hmm.
and most people are like that. Unfortunately, don't be that way,
It
guys.
it really is. Like, seriously, guys, go through life with understanding, and if you don't understand it, go home
Ask
and Google it. That's
or
what Google,
ask.
the beauty of Google. Or
Hmm.
ask somebody who has it, whatever
Yeah.
the case may be. But
We are
seriously,
happy to tell you if you ask.
if you want to
Yeah.
ask us, ask us. We're happy.
And on that note, Elle, what is the question of the week this week?
So the question of the week is, what is the worst thing someone said to you about your chronic illness?
Oh, okay. Well, for me, there's a couple. I can't narrow it down to one. Um, the first one, though, that is the biggest, is I can't count on you to be there for me. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
damn. Like
out.
total knife to the heart kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I cannot count on you to be there for and if you're listening, you know who you are. But anyway, no, it hurts because when you have a chronic illness, you try so hard to keep up with what normal people can do, the normies, quote unquote. Um, and the sad thing is that unfortunately, when you're in a situation where you have a chronic illness, I don't know why this is. You're still the one who's doing everything. Like most people are not willing to take an extra step. At least that's been my experience. Um, so I am still the one taking the extra step, making the extra effort. And so to have someone say to me, I can't count on you, ow. Like, seriously,
Right,
ouch.
like you're giving your all in every possible.
Yeah.
They don't see it.
I mean, like we were talking about, going on, a trip for 2 hours or an hour to meet somebody would give me a UTI. I
Mm-hmm.
could spend an evening with them having wine at a restaurant and I might get an infection from the food. I might get thrush from the wine. I might, have this issue with whatever. So, like, everything we talked about tonight could happen in that one trip.
Wow.
So, and people don't think about that. So, when they say to me, after all that I've gone through, and they say to me, I can't count on you to be there, it really sucks. It
It
really
it
sucks.
sounds It sounds like a knife to the heart. It really does.
Yeah, it's like the worst thing you could say. And then the other thing is, you're still sick. When will you be better?
Oh my
Duh.
God, you found that? Really? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Excuse me, I have a chronic illness. Chronic means I will never be better. I'm always going to have lupus. Sorry for all of you who are like, I hope you get better someday. Okay, I might get a little better, but I still have lupus. Sorry to disappoint you.
Until there's a cure, it
Right?
only help, you know?
Right. Right. Exactly. So, have you heard, like, is there anything that you have heard that is just horrible?
Oh, jeez. How do I start?
Right? I know there's a lot. I mean, people
I mean,
people are generally not, they're not understanding. They just don't get
okay,
it.
so let's start out with this. So, like, when I started with the fibromyalgia chronic fatigue, a lot of family members would say to my mother, she's just lazy, it's just an excuse,
Uh,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, when the vision started, then you had the doctor saying, oh, well, there's nothing wrong with her. She just wants glasses because that's what every teenage girl wants, glasses.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
especially back
Exactly.
then. Holy
Mm-hmm.
crap! Like really.
Right. That's like the last thing a teenage
Oh
girl
my
would want.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. And then I think I mentioned the hearing aid joy before. But I have to bring it up again, I will. But when
Mm-hmm.
this was pre that, but you had a doctor that my parents took me to, and they were basically like, she's just a spoiled brat. There's nothing wrong with her. She just needs a good discipline.
Wow. Oh my
Instead
goodness.
of, oh yeah, there might be something wrong that I can't see. No, she's just
Mm-hmm.
a spoiled brat. So there's been a lot, like
Wow.
even my family, my siblings, even my parents, without meaning to,
Mm-hmm.
there's been so many people that have said things to me, friends,
Yeah.
close acquaintances, and stuff like that. But as far if you want an outside example,
Mm-hmm.
there was there's a very good example. Since I'm legally blind, but I don't need I'm not completely blind, so I don't need the long stick, which is everybody is accustomed to
Seeing.
equating,
Yeah.
right, to
Mm-hmm.
blindness.
Right.
Well, what is every blind stick color? White, red.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a cane that is a support cane that is also white and red,
Mm-hmm.
to indicate that. And a lot of people just, nope, they have no education or they don't care. I'm not sure which it is.
Right.
But just because I can still see you doesn't mean I can see you.
Right.
So that's been something,
I
you
can
know,
imagine.
where
Yeah.
people, people are like mad at me because I ran into them. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm so sorry. And they're like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I can't see.
Right.
And they don't believe me because I don't
Mm-hmm.
fit that quota, you know.
And yeah, you
Um,
absolutely don't. Yeah. Yep.
it,
Yeah,
it
you don't.
happens
Yeah.
every day. It happens all
Mm-hmm.
the time.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It really
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. So stop judging people.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh my gosh, please, please just have a moment of humanity and just don't judge.
Right. Exactly. Little patience would be nice.
Just a little bit.
So what is our topic next week?
A topic for next week is stress with chronic illness, which I think we're going to do great at. It's going to be a super awesome topic.
Because stress is really out there right now, and
It is,
yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
we know how much it affects you, and we don't mean to be derogatory, but we know how much it affects you normal people who haven't been used to this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of our bringing you into where we've been all this whole time.
Pretty much, yeah. And stress can make a huge difference on our well-being. So that's a
Absolutely.
great topic to be
Absolutely. I hope you guys
talking
tune
about.
in because I think everybody can learn something, even if you don't have a chronic illness. I think
Mm-hmm.
you can learn something from this.
Absolutely. And okay, so just a quick blurb. You can find us on social media. All the information is in the description today. We really hope that you will show us some love, leave us some comments, but most of all, that you will give
Share
us
our post.
questions. Yep, that too. But we would really love it if you would give us some questions that we can bring to you in our next podcast. And if you have any questions at all, or if you just want someone to talk to, you can reach us privately on Facebook or leave us a message on any of our social media pages.
We are absolutely here to help you to reassure, as we often say in our posts, you are not alone.
Absolutely.
And we mean that. So
That's
if
right.
there's any way we can help, reach out. We're here. We will do everything we can.
That's right. If we don't know the answer, we'll find it. And if we're not the people for you, we will find the people for you. Absolutely.
Right. We're by no means professionals. We just are professionals in living the life that we live.
Exactly. Okay, so the quote of the week is, "My health issues haven't taken everything from me. I have way more blessings than I do health issues, and that is what I have to remember on the hard days."
I love it. That's the only thing that gets you through the hard days. Is the blessings in your life.
Yeah, you have to kind of concentrate on what you do have rather than what you don't have, what you still can do rather than what you can't. So.
And in my case, what you can still hear and what you can still see, what you can just the simple sentences boil it down to that. Just appreciate what you do have. Don't take it for granted.
Right. And on that note, guys,
it'll be a goodbye for me, and we'll see you soon.
Take care, Spoonies.